You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Today on our Training Thursday edition, I'm going to bring to you the best gym-free fat loss intervals you can do. These are some of the ones I personally do myself right around the Boston, Cambridge area, and also that my clients use literally all around the world. So one of the things that I like about gym-free workouts is that it really takes the excuse away from, oh, I don't have the equipment, I don't have, whatever the space it is to do my workouts. Well, I'll tell you now, it's a little bit more challenging maybe where I live in Boston during the winter months where there's ice outside or snow or those types of things. But I know a lot of people all around the world. We have a lot of people listening in California and Florida and, all around the U.S., but also all around the world where, you have beautiful weather all year round. And I'm a little bit jealous about that because there's a lot of days, especially, we have 6 great months of good weather, in the New England area where you can just get outside and you want to be outside. And so some of the things I say is just take advantage of getting out of the air-conditioned gyms with the recycled air. And if you can, maybe do part of your workout inside if you'd like, but then get outside and do some of your intervals right outside. Your body also gets to perform at its best when it's moving freely. That means when it doesn't have to just hop on a treadmill or move in a fixed plane of motion, that you can sprint laterally, that you can sprint forward, that you can do all these great things for your body. And again, if you're someone who maybe is dealing with knee-based issues, we'll talk about that as well, because it doesn't always have to be specifically sprinting. We can do other intervals from there. So let's get into it. I'm not going to make this a long episode. I'm just going to share with you some of my favorites. Now, one of my absolute favorites is the Harvard Coliseum right in Cambridge. Now, if you don't live in Cambridge or the Boston area, that you might not be able to go to the Harvard Coliseum, but there are a lot of stadiums, high school, college, right in your own local neighborhood. And most, teams have a stadium. Most high schools have a stadium. And with those stadiums, you're going to get stairs. So you get to sprint up the bleacher stairs. So essentially, you can just walk into a lot of these stadiums. They're not roped off for the most part. And get right in there, and you can actually just, do a light warm-up. I always recommend do a plank, do some lunges forward, backwards, off to the side, maybe do a couple bodyweight squats with your arms overhead. Do a few things to get that body warmed up. And then, like I say, always do your first sprint at 50% of your max, then second sprint, 75% of your max. And then if you listen to previous week's episodes, you know how many I recommend. And so just to give it away, it's around 8 to 10 total intervals after you do your warm-up ones. All right, now that's maximum. You could just do 4 or 5 afterwards. That's okay as well. So with the stadium stair sprints, though, it's a very unique stimulus on the body because you're actually forcefully pushing off with those Achilles tendons, the calves, the soles of the feet, and you get great pushing from the glutes as well. The glutes, the hamstrings, the quads have to stabilize. So it's a great workout. Really like those. And again, start off slow just to make sure that you kind of get your bearings because you are sprinting upstairs. Make sure you're not holding any weights in your hands. I really don't like to see people doing that. I want your hands free just in case you were to kind of fall forward or whatever so you can catch yourself. And again, these things should never happen, but safety first, as they say. So stadium stairs sprints are absolutely fantastic. Love those. And really anyone can do them. So here's the thing. Even if you don't have the best knees, the best hips, whatever it is, you can go slow. It really doesn't matter because you get to choose the height that you want. You can go from the bottom all the way to the top, or you can go the bottom up 10 steps, up 15 steps, up 20 steps, and you don't have to be sprinting. You can just walk. I mean, in the beginning, if you've never done intervals before, that could be your thing. Maybe you walk up the steps, you walk back down. You walk up the steps, you walk back down. I like a full-out sprint up the steps, some around 20 to 30 seconds at the most, of course. I think that's what it's going to be because you can't really sprint for long in that. The stairs aren't long enough. And then you just walk back down. That should take you about a minute or so, and then right back up. and then back down, 20 seconds and a minute. So 20 seconds up, a minute down, 20 seconds up, minute down. Really enjoy those. That's a great quick workout. Another one that I love to do, this one I learned back in high school when I used to run cross country and track, we would do hill sprints. Now, hill sprints are brutal. They're excellent for you, but they're hard. They are really, really hard. So one way to make it a little easier in the beginning is make sure that the hill is not too steep or too long. So the length doesn't matter as much. And the reason is that you can just gauge, like you can have a timer that's set to go off after 20 seconds. And that's just what you can sprint for. Hill sprints are pretty tough. I don't recommend more than a 20 to 40 second hill sprint. And the higher the grade, meaning the steeper the hill, the more challenging it's going to be. So you're going to probably just need a little bit more rest in between sets. Meaning like if you sprint up for 20 seconds, you're going to need about a minute to a minute and a half to walk back down, cool your body, and then do it again. You can't just do, sprint up, jog back down, sprint up. It's too challenging the body and you're not going to get the most out of your intervals. Too many people are doing intervals incorrectly, meaning that they're not going all out with their sprint. They're going like 70% and then they're kind of jogging down at like maybe 30%. It should be 100% up after you do your warm-up intervals, and then it should be like literally as slow as you, just slow normal pace on the way down. That's all. All right, so hill sprints and stadium stair sprints, those are brutal, really, really hard, but excellent. And so once you get a little bit more advanced, I really like those. And of course, hill sprints, again, you can jog up. It doesn't have to be, when you're first starting out, you're just getting used to it. Another one I like is barefoot sand or grass sprints. Now, of course, you have to make sure that you're in a safe area. If you're gonna go barefoot, you do have to be careful about that. The other thing is you could just wear, I believe I spoke about them before, they're called like trail glove shoes or Vibram 5-finger or anything with that Vibram, that really thin sole. It's like less than a 0 point, it's 0 pitch, but it's very, very thin. So it's almost like barefoot. That's typically what I do. The only time I ever sprint barefoot is on the beach. And I do love sprinting on the beach barefoot down near the wet sand. So that's fantastic. It's a different stimulus. It's actually much, much harder when your foot's gripping the ground without any sneaker. You're getting a lot more work. Really enjoy those. And again, you can do any type of sprint you want with those. A great one when you're at the beach, when you're on grass, is called lateral shuffle drills. And that's sprinting sideways. Literally, you're running sideways for 10 seconds, then running the other side for 10 seconds. Those are really fun, really nice. T-shuffle drills, which is basically running straight up and to the side and the side and then back. One of them is called suicide sprints in basketball. If you're on a basketball court, sprint to the foul line, come back to the out of bounds line, then half court, then back, then the next foul line, and then back, then all the way down and back. Those are really fantastic. When I played basketball, we did those all the time. Another great one is called band sprints. You can hook a band around your partner's waist, then around yours, sprint out for about 3 to 5 steps, come back slowly, do it again. We have great YouTube videos on those, how to hook that up to any hard fixed objects and sprint out again for 5 seconds, then back slow. You can do about 15 reps of that. Those are really, really amazing. Maybe I'll get more into the outside ones because, again, you can do the band sprints outside, but let's talk about just body weight for today, and then I'll talk about some other ones in the gym. And then when in doubt, I will wrap this up now. When in doubt, you always have mountain climbers, right? So you can just get outside. You can do mountain climbers on the grass. You can do mountain climbers. You're going for a jog, and then you can bang out 20 seconds or 30 seconds or 40 seconds of mountain climbers. And it's just a great thing that you can take anywhere you go, and you're going to be able to get in anywhere from 5 to 10 sets of intervals, anywhere from 20 seconds to 60 seconds long. So hopefully some of the ideas right here kind of got your brain going. Maybe it will force you to get outside a little bit. I would love for you to try to breathe in a little bit more fresh air, try to get some sun, and just get your body just feeling good, oxygenated, get those energy levels pumped up. Don't overdo it, but use some of those intervals to your advantage. It does help with health. It does help with longevity. Just don't overdo it and you'll be feeling great. Thank you once again for tuning into another Cabral Concept. I want to sincerely thank you for your support of this podcast. I couldn't do it without you, and I mean that. I truly do. I also want to make sure you knew that we now have multiple ways for you to find your answers to the most difficult health, wellness, weight loss, and anti-aging questions. You can find podcast-specific topics like thyroid, adrenal, hormones, sleep, digestion, Ayurveda, and many more at stephencabral.com/podcasts that will then link you to your favorite Apple, Spotify, and other podcast players. Plus, all new podcasts and weekly exclusive video content is being added to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Stephen Cabral. And that's Stephen with a PH. Head on over and subscribe so that you don't miss any of the exclusive content. Lastly, if you've ever found any of my podcasts or books to be helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a review on iTunes or your favorite media player for the podcast. Rating and subscribing to the YouTube and podcast allow me to reach more and more people and help spread my mission of healing throughout the world. Thank you again for being a part of this movement.